Ladies and gentlemen, here's a motivational speech intro in Jessica's bold, powerful, and emotionally magnetic style, perfectly tailored to your topic: 5 techniques that hack female desire and make her. Let me know if you'd like it tilted more romantic, alpha, spiritual, or psychological too. Intro Jessica style. You think attraction is a game of looks, money, or lines. Let me tell you something that'll flip your whole mind. Set desire is not random, it's coded, and today, you're about to get the cheat codes. This isn't about manipulation, it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. This is about unlocking who you truly are and using that power to tap into what she truly craves, because female desire is not just emotional, it's psychological, it's spiritual, and once you understand how it works, you won't chase anyone, they'll chase you. These aren't pickup tricks. These are techniques grounded in inner gravity, the kind that pulls her in without a word, without a flex, without trying. If you're ready to move from guessing to knowing, from rejection to magnetic connection, then lean in, because I'm about to hand you the 5 techniques that don't just spark interest, they ignite obsession. Let's begin. When it comes to female desire, most men are playing the wrong game. They're operating on logic, checklists, and surface-level attraction. But the real switch, the real fire, is hidden deep in her emotional imagination. That's the place where desire is born. That's the place you need to tap into if you want to create the kind of pull that isn't easily forgotten. You can't just look good or say the right things. You need to become an experience, something she feels in her body before she even understands it with her mind. Women don't respond to facts and figures the way men do. What she craves is the feeling that bypasses the brain and lights up her soul. And the fastest way to do that is to speak to her imagination. Think about it. Books, movies, fantasies. These are the worlds where female desire comes alive. Why? Because they engage her emotional circuitry. They give her space to feel, wonder, crave. Your job isn't to tell her what you bring to the table. Your job is to make her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time, or maybe ever. She doesn't want you to explain yourself. She wants to imagine what being with you would feel like. This is where subtlety becomes power. You don't announce who you are. You don't give her a resume of your value. You create tension, mystery, a vibe that forces her imagination to go to work. You drop pieces of who you are. You give a moment of depth, a flash of masculinity, a silence that says more than words. When she walks away from that interaction, she should be questioning herself, feeling herself, wondering why that one moment with you hit her harder than conversations with people she's known for years. Too many men try to convince a woman to want them, but convincing is weak. It kills desire. What fuels desire is when she convinces herself that she needs more of you. When you activate her emotional imagination, she'll replay your words, decode your silences, analyze your eye contact. She'll create stories around you, and the more she thinks about you, the more her attraction grows. This is how obsession starts, not from what you say, but from what she feels when you're not even around. To trigger that, you have to be present in your energy but scarce in your detail. Let her wonder, let her fill in the gaps, leave space for her to fantasize. When she starts imagining what kissing you feels like, how your hands feel on her skin, how your voice sounds in the dark, she's already yours mentally, and once you have her there, her body will follow. Her actions will follow, her loyalty will follow, because you're no longer just a man. You've become a world she wants to enter. This doesn't mean being fake. It means being intentional. Every look, every pause, every sentence should hint at more than what's on the surface. Let her see the layers, but not all at once. Seduction is a slow burn. It's a rhythm. It's how you hold space, how you let her feel seen without being fully seen yourself. You become a puzzle she wants to solve, a story she wants to keep reading. She starts investing energy into you, and the moment she does, you flip the dynamic. You're no longer chasing her attention. She's chasing your mystery. Masculine energy isn't about being aggressive or dominant in the loud way most people misunderstand. It's not about acting tough, raising your voice, or being constantly in control. True masculine energy is rooted in calm, grounded presence, and when it's unpredictable, it becomes intoxicating. Women are deeply drawn to energy that keeps them emotionally engaged, energy that makes them feel something unexpected. Predictability is safe, but it's also boring, and boredom is the enemy of desire. The masculine that knows how to shift gears, create emotional movement, and break patterns is the one that becomes unforgettable. When you show up the same way every time, same tone, same routine, same reactions, she begins to feel like she knows the script. And once she can predict you, she loses interest. There's no mystery, no anticipation. It becomes static. But when you add unpredictability to your masculine presence, she stays on edge in a good way. She starts to look forward to what version of you she'll get today, not in a chaotic sense, but in a deeply emotional sense. One day you're soft, spoken and reflective, the next you're intense and fiery. One moment you're deeply engaged, the next you pull away with purpose. That dance activates her senses. It creates emotional contrast. Emotional contrast is everything. Women are not linear in their emotions, so when you show up as a man who brings emotional range, it resonates with her inner world. She doesn't want flatness. She wants movement. She wants to feel like you can take her somewhere, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Predictability makes her feel like she's stuck. But when you're unpredictable in your masculine energy, she feels like she's on a journey, and journeys are addictive. She starts to crave you because you're not something she can just understand and walk away from. You're an evolving experience. Unpredictable energy also signals confidence. Only a man who is comfortable with himself can shift gears without needing validation. Most men stay in one mode because it feels safe. They don't take risks in how they express themselves because they're afraid of losing control. But a man who can lean into his emotions, control his energy, and break patterns without losing his grounding, that's a man who radiates strength. And strength that moves, strength that flows, strength that surprises, that's what stirs her feminine deeply. You can use unpredictability in how you communicate. Don't always reply instantly. Don't always text the same way. Change your pace. Sometimes be brief and direct. Other times be thoughtful and deep. In person, sometimes lead the conversation with fire, sometimes with silence. Let her feel the range. Let her see that she's not in control of the rhythm, that you are. That subtle leadership, that invisible dominance, makes her trust your masculine more, and trust leads to surrender. Unpredictable masculine energy is also tied to your purpose. A man deeply on his path will not be available 24/7. He won't rearrange his world for her attention. That alone creates unpredictability, because she doesn't always know when or how you'll show up. She just knows that when you do, it's real, it's powerful, and it leaves a mark. This absence and presence, this wave-like motion, mirrors nature, thunderstorms, fire, oceans. The most powerful forces are never still or safe. They're alive, moving, dynamic, and that's what your masculine energy should feel like. When she can't quite read you but feels deeply seen by you, when she doesn't know what's coming next but trusts that whatever it is, it's real, when you keep her emotionally awake yet never disrespect her boundaries. That's when you stop being just a man. You become a force she can't ignore. Most people are terrified of absence. They think the only way to keep someone interested is through constant presence, constant communication, constant attention. But what they don't understand is that desire grows in space. What is always available loses value. What is rare becomes precious. When you learn to use absence with intention, it stops being a weakness and becomes a weapon. It becomes a tool to shift emotional energy, to deepen longing, and to create psychological gravity. Women are emotionally intuitive. They feel shifts in energy instantly. So when you pull back, not out of fear, but out of grounded choice, it disrupts the pattern and forces her to feel the space you left behind. When you're constantly present, replying fast, always initiating, always showing up, there's no room for emotional reflection. She doesn't get to miss you because you never give her the space to. But when you step back with intention, you create a vacuum, and energy always rushes to fill a vacuum. That absence becomes the thing she thinks about. That space becomes filled with curiosity, with wonder, with questions she can't stop asking herself. Where did he go? Is he thinking about me? Did I do something wrong? Why do I feel this way? Her mind starts to engage, and once her mind is involved, so is her emotion. Absence makes your presence more valuable. It reframes how she experiences you. Instead of being a constant background noise, you become a moment she looks forward to. She starts to associate your presence with intensity, with energy, with excitement. And she starts to crave it. The contrast between your presence and your absence creates a rhythm. That rhythm is what keeps her emotionally awake. Too many men are either always there or completely gone. But the power lies in knowing how to move between the two with precision. Using absence as a weapon doesn't mean playing games. It means knowing when to step back to allow her emotions to catch up. Women process differently. Sometimes what hits you instantly takes her a few hours, days, even weeks to fully feel. If you're always pushing forward, you're not giving her time to sink into the emotions you just created. But when you disappear, when you go silent, not in anger or punishment, but in self-focus and grounded peace, it gives her room to feel the echo of what you brought. She starts remembering how you made her feel, how your energy shifted her state, how your voice lingered after the call ended. And that remembering is what deepens desire. That remembering is where obsession begins. The best seducers understand that presence is powerful, but absence, when used correctly, is magnetic. It's not about ghosting. It's not about ignoring. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't need to be constantly seen to feel valuable. Your silence speaks, your space speaks. Your lack of attention, when given with purpose, becomes more impactful than 100 compliments. Absence also signals independence. It shows that your life is full, that your time is sacred, that you're not waiting around for validation. That confidence is deeply attractive. It creates a polarity where she feels your detachment, not in a cold way, but in a powerful way. She realizes she doesn't own you. She has to earn your attention, not because you're playing games, but because you value yourself enough to not overextend. That dynamic flips the usual script. Now she's leaning in. Now she's the one wondering when you'll return. Now she's investing energy, and when you do return, the emotional charge is stronger, the tension is higher, the connection feels more intense, not because you said more or did more, but because you gave space for feelings to grow in your absence. You created an emotional container that she had to fill with her own thoughts, her own desires, her own longing, and that longing binds her to you more deeply than any words ever could. Sexual tension isn't about physical contact or explicit words. It starts long before that. It begins in how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you hold eye contact, how you command a room without raising your voice. The most powerful form of tension is built in the moments of stillness, in the way you make her feel without touching her, in the way you awaken her senses without saying anything obvious. Subtle dominance is not about control over her. It's about control over yourself. It's about a quiet confidence that says you know what you want, you're not afraid of it, and you don't need permission to claim space. Women feel energy more than words. They sense who a man is before he opens his mouth. If you walk into a room with grounded presence, straight posture, a slow gaze, and no need to impress, she'll feel it. That's dominance without noise. That's strength without shouting, and that's what activates her deeper instincts. Not the loud guy trying to be seen. The silent one who's already seen everything. The one whose energy creates a charge even in silence. That charge is where the sexual tension lives. It's where her body starts to respond before her mind catches up. Subtle dominance is in your voice. A slower tone, steady, controlled, speaking less but meaning more. Knowing when to hold eye contact a second longer than expected. Knowing how to lead without forcing, guiding conversations with intention, making decisions without needing to ask for permission. This doesn't mean being dismissive. It means being sure of yourself. When a man is certain, he creates safety and danger at the same time, and that paradox is irresistible. Safety makes her feel held, danger makes her feel alive. When she senses both in you, her attraction multiplies. The way you touch, if and when you do, also reflects this energy. Gentle but firm, confident without being invasive, a hand on her back that lingers just long enough, a soft touch that signals restraint, not desperation. The art is in how little you do, and how much she feels because of it. Sexual tension is about leaving space for her to lean in. You don't grab, you invite. You don't push, you pull with your energy, with your eyes, with your timing. And the more you hold back with control, the more she feels pulled toward you. This tension builds in the unknown, in the pauses, in the gaps between what you say and what you mean. When your words have multiple layers, when your compliments are subtle but loaded, when your presence alone changes the temperature of the room, that's how she starts feeling you in her skin. That's when her mind starts creating stories. She starts imagining, and imagination is where real desire grows, not in what's obvious, but in what's possible. Subtle dominance is also about decisiveness. You don't ask, "What do you want to do?" You say, "We're going here." You don't hesitate. You choose, and if she's a woman in her feminine, she'll feel safe letting you lead, but only if your leadership is calm, respectful, unshaken. You don't have to prove you're in charge, you just are. It's in your choices, in how you move, in how you own the space around you. That certainty makes her drop her guard. It lets her soften, and that softening deepens the tension, because now her walls are down, and your energy has space to move freely. This kind of dominance isn't about ego, it's about presence. It's about being so rooted in who you are that she feels like she can let go. She doesn't need to question your intentions. She doesn't need to test you. She can just feel. And when a woman starts feeling instead of thinking, when she stops analyzing and starts reacting, that's when the tension reaches its peak. That's when desire takes over, and she starts leaning into you with her body, her mind, and her trust. Most men make the mistake of listening to what a woman says instead of tuning into what she truly desires. There's a massive gap between her words and her core wants, and unless you learn how to read beneath the surface, you'll keep responding to the wrong signals. Women are conditioned to speak in ways that protect their vulnerability. They'll say they want a nice guy, but their actions show they crave depth, intensity, emotional safety wrapped in masculine danger. They'll talk about stability and kindness, but melt for the man who makes them feel something raw, unfiltered, and alive. To truly connect with her desire, you have to learn to listen with your intuition, not just your ears. Speaking to her inner desires starts with emotional intelligence. It means noticing what lights her up, what makes her eyes change, what makes her posture shift, what topics unlock a deeper layer of her. It's paying attention to the subtle signs, the breath she holds when you get close, the way she plays with her hair when she's nervous, the silence after a powerful sentence. Her body speaks long before her lips do. And if you can read her body language, her tone, her energy, you'll know what she's craving before she even does. Most women walk through life unseen. They're praised for their looks, not their soul. They're complimented on the surface, not understood at their depth. When you show her that you see through her, not just what she presents, but what she protects, that's when her desire awakens. She starts to feel safe and excited at the same time. Safe because you're not judging her, excited because you're not falling for the mask. You're reaching into her essence, and that is where feminine desire is most alive. You don't have to agree with everything she says, but when you respond to what's underneath it, she feels profoundly understood. This also means you stop reacting to her tests. Sometimes she'll challenge you, push your buttons, try to unbalance you, not because she doesn't like you, but because she needs to feel your strength. Her inner desire wants to feel your rootedness. If she says something sarcastic or distant, don't chase, don't explain. Stay calm, stay grounded, and speak from your center. That calmness shows leadership, and leadership in energy, in conversation, in vibe. That's what her desire respects. She doesn't want someone who collapses under pressure. She wants someone who holds his frame no matter what emotional storm comes through. To speak to her inner desires, you also have to be connected to yours. A man disconnected from his own needs, emotions, and passions will never awaken a woman's depth. You have to be in tune with your own hunger, your own drive, your own truth. The man who knows what he wants and isn't ashamed of it becomes irresistible. Not because he's aggressive, but because he's clear, and that clarity gives her permission to surrender, to feel, to explore without fear. When you speak your truth with calm confidence, she doesn't have to guess. She gets to respond with her full feminine energy without holding back. She might say she wants someone easygoing, but her desire will spike for the man who leads. She might claim she's not looking for anything intense, but her body will respond to emotional risk. She might say she doesn't want drama, but deep inside she wants to feel, to be taken out of her head and into her body. That shift doesn't happen with logic. It happens when a man communicates on the level where desire lives: energy, emotion, tension, presence. If you can speak to her unspoken needs, if you can unlock the places inside her that most people don't even see, she won't just desire you, she'll crave the way she feels in your presence, and she won't be able to forget you.